morning, and welcome to another edition of African Americans Ain't Africans, the talk show that proves without a shadow of a doubt that the so-called people you called African American, Black, Negro, colored, blah, 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 those people are the indigenous people here to America, and they didn't come over here in those slave ships pissing and shitting on each other. So, African Americans Ain't Africans is here to debunk all that and set you on the right track, which is to your people. Who are you? Where you come from? Who are you? Not what somebody told you who you were. Who are you? Period. And see, these are questions we have to ask because other people ask themselves that they teach them that they teach their kids that they're in a long line of succession because they, as a people, are trying to do something. This weaves all throughout their culture. See, China wants to take over the world too. Asia wants to take over the world too. Russia wants to take over the world too. Africans want to take over the world too. And they set out to do that. But they all have just think of it as a granite, a big ball of energy. And all these people are coming to get the energy, and the energy is you. And what do you do with your energy? What you normally do is give it to other people so they can use it without you. This is going on for a very long time now, and the Negro act like, oops, I didn't mean to do that, when you just set everybody back damn near 100 years. I want to share some things with you today that if you know somebody who can use this information, please pass it on to them. That don't hurt. You can email it or whatever, or send them to African Americans Ain't Africans, send them to the Indigenous Ones page to check out this information. But I want to show you something. This is how I get to how I'm seeing things. And I'm just one person. And I thank a lot of you guys for seeing and sharing some of your information too. That's very, very important. Learn as much as you can. Get out of the mainstream way of doing things because they got these cats on lock. I was reading the Los Angeles Times. They have that you can get 4 months for $1, that digital stuff, because that newspaper ideology is wearing thin, because that would help mold the people and how they think, how these people see things, not how you see them, how they see them. And when you look up under the covers, and I'll show you how to do that in a minute, but you can do it in all kinds of ways. When you look up under the covers, hey man, and we have to be cognizant of this. We gotta know it. We always laugh, nah, we gotta know this. So this is from the Los Angeles Times. And these three women, they're 3 Korean women who they won seats. They won seats in the California, whatever, that voting shit. Late Friday, young Kim had joined her sister, Michelle Steele. Sister is in those quotes because they're not really sisters, but they're sisters. This is how they communicate with each other. We don't do that. We'll say, I know African Americans who would call these women their sisters. Tell me I'm lying. I know African Americans, Black people, Negro, Indian people will call these people their sisters. They don't look at you as their sisters. They look at you as an energy ball, and they're coming to suck the energy out of you. But they don't have to suck too much because you hand it right over. We'll get into that a little later. But I want to show you something very important. First two of the 3 Korean women ever elected to the U.S. House of Representatives. Orange County Republicans. These are Korean American immigrants. You think this woman's name is Young Kim for real? You think her grandmama name is Young Kim? You think this chick mama name is Steele, last name Steele? No, they're immigrants. They come from somewhere else and try to change their identity. Many people do it. The only one who doesn't do it is you, unless you're calling yourself some kind of biblical character, always in somebody else's ideology and never in yours. Never. These are going to be in the House of Representatives in Los Angeles. In California. But what I wanted to show you about what's happening, not just in California, but in a whole lot of places. In a whole lot of places. This is what's happening. Check this out. This is going to twist. Y'all going to be like, what? You lying. Check this shit out. I want to show you something. This is showing you the population of Los Angeles County. Where Los Angeles County in the 40s, 50s, and 60s, Los Angeles County, a lot more than you think, a lot of Negroes from the South came to Los Angeles. A lot more than you would think. You think they dumped Negroes out of here just going to Chicago and Detroit and other parts north. That was to pull you off the land so they can come in and get it. And in typical African-American Negro black fashion, they fall for the trick every time. The banana in the tailpipe trip every time. There was a time where in Los Angeles, there were millions of black people. This is what they were called at the time. They were called black. African Americans haven't came on the scene yet. Now, these are only black people. If you ever get a chance to check out or ask your mother or father, your grandmother, your grandfather, ask them about, and you can watch this on YouTube, about a concert called Wattstax. This happened in LA in like 1971, 1972. The LA Memorial Coliseum, which holds 10,000 people, black folks filled it up. Black folks filled it up. And it was mainly the young people. It wasn't the whole population. It was the young people. And that was the time when you was 7 or 8, you could go to concerts. The population in LA Compton, Watts, even up in Oakland. But in Southern California, the population with so-called Black people was booming. A lot of you may have family out there, you know. If you don't know, simply ask somebody. Huge population. Then all of a sudden, right after that Black Power movement, it was kind of like a lull to sleep. Black folks were kind of lulled to sleep with this blaxploitation movies, this fake education that was given in the schools. Because remember, one of the changes for that whole civil rights bill and blah 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 was to make better schools. They did a dismal failures because the people's whose children it wasn't given a seat at the table to let know what kind of information to give, what their children should be receiving. That wasn't done. They tossed in a couple of like filmmaking classes, start busting in the school, you know, that type stuff. And that made the so-called Black people feel good. That, I mean, seriously, all it was a pat on the head, if that. Then when they were lulled to sleep, they hit them with that crack. After they were lulled to sleep, they hit them with that crack. And there are a myriad of ways that they were lulled to sleep. When that crack came through, it decimated the population. When that crack came through, it decimated the population. That's not just in LA, that's all over this damn country. We did that to each other. We did that to each other. You'll see on this map right here, this top line is Los Angeles County. This is the population at Los Angeles County. 9%. 9%. This is of the Black African American. Check out for Asians. Damn near 16%. You see what I'm saying? We don't have time to muck around. You're being depopulated. And remember, LA, what's in LA? Hollywood. Hollywood. And we know how them Negroes in Hollywood are. We know LA. Everybody wants to be a star, when most of them already are, like, you know, have some confidence in themselves. This is important. The population is shrinking because other people are coming over from across the waters. See, we've talked about this before, and this is probably one of the last times we're going to talk about it because we're being hit on so many fronts. And, you know, we want to keep giving the information, and we will, but come on. Y'all got to catch up. These are the people who will be representing Los Angeles, because like I said earlier, there's some places in Northern California where Negroes are full. These will be their representatives. Now, what you've been taught in this American whatever, you've been taught that you're black. You've been taught that you're an African American. You've been taught that you're colored. You've been taught that you're a Negro. And American Indian Party, African Americans ain't Africans, all back me up when I say you are America. You are America. They're coming over to get you. You're disappearing like the trees are. You don't get the correlation. You're drying up like some of these rivers and streams around here because the pollution is so high. You don't get the message. These people are trying to get to your land, your national parks, and you just la, 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 la. They can have it. See, these are the women that the people who what they call themselves Greek, those Negro Greek fraternities, those shines, those are the vehicles that these people come and use to get in. Kamala Harris. Those schools, that information was built by Joe Biden's people. These so-called historically black, remember, they're not African-American colleges and universities. They're black, because that's what the people were called at that time. They were making them movable things. They were making them objects. They were objectifying them then to use them for what they wanted to use them for. It's like in that song, Rebel Without a Pause. No matter what the name, we're all the same pieces in one big chess game. And the Negro, you know, he loves his place on the board. He loves it. Loves it. So these people in Kamala Harris, they hang out together. They're the same, they come from the same people, the same group of people. They're Asian. They're Asian. They're not you. You couldn't go over to their places and go into their schools and lead and get in the sororities over there, and they walk you up to the highest position in the land, to those doorsteps. They wouldn't do that for you. But guess what? You will do it for them, and look at people who look at you crazy like we're crazy. Huh? This is what the African American does daily. Damn near everybody, but 90%. They don't look out for their interest. They don't look out for the interests of their children. They don't look out for the interests of their mothers. They don't look out for the interest of their grandmothers. They look out for the interest of these people. This is what the African American does. And anybody who disagrees with it, please. We'll open up the phone lines. How could you do that? And somebody please explain how do you do that? How do you let other people come to your country, dog you, and don't most of our women get their beauty supplies from these people? Don't most of our women get their hair, huh? Isn't this what the mothers are teaching the children? Isn't this what we teach? Love everybody. We are the world, we are the children. Isn't this what you teach your children? You will look out for these people before you look out for your own people. And the majority of African Americans do. Now, this is California. So when you go all around the country, so this is California on the West Coast. This is just not Los Angeles. These people go all the way to San Francisco. I don't know what they're like in Oregon. Oregon's a pretty racist place. But Seattle, Vancouver, Canada, all up there, they're fat. In the south of California, going over to Arizona, New Mexico, Texas, Louisiana, Alabama, Mexicans is taking over, and other Central American people. You hem them right there in the South. Florida, you got the Cubans. The East Coast, you got the Europeans and everybody else, Russians and everybody else. This is how far you've been penetrated. And you cool with it. You proud you did your job, right? 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 You proud of yourself. Now they have turned you into homosexuals. Homo meaning one. They have you doing stuff and you don't even know what you're doing. You just doing it so you don't have to do what you have to do. You won't even stand up and protect your grandmama. Her legacy that she handed down to you. This is what you do with it. This is what you do with it. And I love my grandmama. Shut up. No, you don't. So this is what the African American does. Right? Right? You guys are going to have to stop making sure everybody else these people's off of what you buy off hair care products alone, off of what you just buy on tennis shoes annually alone. You set up a few of their families for 100 years. But you don't think you're nothing. Somebody can come tell you you're 10% of the population. Okay, boss, I 10%. I know that's a when you just saw with your own eyes. Georgia, that was a red state. All those black folks that came out of the woods all back there, they turned it into a blue state. But you think you're the minority. You think you're the minority. And so when you think that, that gives other people huge advantages psychological advantages for you in doing whatever they want done. While all of these people are pouring in, and like I said, these are just the Asians on the West Coast. Uh, Everything south, up from the south. New York is everybody's. Negroes ain't nothing on the East Coast. And see, when I say nothing, don't get me wrong and don't try. A lot of people are doing stuff. A lot of people are doing stuff. But you think the brother that is the farmer, raise cows, raise corn? Do you think do we all go get our stuff from him? No. Why aren't all these cities that our people are from? Why isn't there a push by these ministers? I mean, I'm just saying, this is just my 2 cents. I'm telling you guys, these are the people that represent you. These are the people that, most of us follow. Why aren't these teachers, these ministers, all these college degrees, and how come we don't have hotels, restaurants? Huh? We cool with Shaq going to get a dudes who racist. He's advertising for them, and we cool with it. This is the kind of shit Negroes do that baffles me. And people look at me like I'm crazy. There is no, I hear they're not even black colleges anymore. They've been taken over. There's no, or we have a hotel chain. All the money these churches been getting, we don't have a restaurant chain, something that our children can go to while they're learning, or jobs. We don't have, other people can come over to your land and set that up, and you're cool with it. So, somebody please explain. If that's explainable, please explain. Come on. You have all this land down in the South, and you shines want a job. You have all these resources. They're yours. You could come up with new ways to make housing. You won't do that. You could come up with extravagant and updated ways to teach your children. You won't do that. You could come up with fresh new ways of farming. So just eat right. Just call it that, eat right. We won't do that. I guess we just waiting on Jesus. So, as you can see, most of the people you call African Americans, they're going to go by the wayside. They just are. It's not, a couple of months ago, it would be seen as, you being mean. Why are you talking about? See, that's just a defense mechanism. So when a person realizes that he made an ass of himself, so he won't look like an ass, he plays that sad, I didn't know, huh? You know, that the typical Negro stuff. The baby boomers are the last vestiges of the mothers who had a lot of children. Remember, there was a time in our history that the women had a lot of children. And the women had a lot of children because they didn't look at them as children. The women had babies because they had hands to build whatever needed to be built at that time. So we don't know our history. We don't know ourselves. I don't know. Women had a lot of babies then because the babies, they didn't look at it as one baby. They looked at it as two hands. All of them lived. She'd have 15 kids, all of them lived. But those 15 kids, they were a workforce. Somebody's convinced you don't do that, but they teach their kids definitely to do it. And you do what they say. That's what the African American does what somebody else tells him to do. You got to start calling it how it is. You can't pretend that this is not true, because it is. See, you know you're in it and you know you're doing it, so you feel shame. You better stop that shit, because you're teaching your kids to do that stuff. And just like you see with the baby boomers that are sitting down now, most of their children are following right in their footsteps. Not all, a significant, it has been a drop from that generation. The generation of the civil rights, a lot of those children, they are, doing their own thing. But with this COVID response, this COVID thing, we'll see what's it going to turn out like for us in the end. Because if you haven't understood this COVID thing, you really need to understand it, study it, what it is, and what they plan to do about it, and what position are we going to be in. Because a lot of us, whatever the TV say, it's like God said it. And you understand what I mean. If it comes across the TV, we think that's God's truth, or whoever God is. We think that's the truth. And I suggest that we stop that. Because if it keeps going on, they can lead us exactly to where they want us to go. So I just wanted to give you this before I know everybody got to get ready for church now. Grab some of that money out the pot for me. We'll see you a little later on this evening. Peace.